Originally, I thought to do my first yoga class as a fitness regimen. I had tried bodybuilding and all these like heavy weightlifting regimens to get in shape all my life, and they never quite stuck with me. So I thought, why not try a yoga class? And my first yoga class was actually like a hot power yoga class. It's like really intense, like heated room of like 100 degrees. And yeah, that was really my first exposure to yoga. It was an interesting way to start coming into yoga. Yeah, but I enjoyed it as far as a fitness regimen goes. I stuck to it. It was more accessible to me than than all the weightlifting and all that kind of regimen for fitness. I think my third or fourth hot yoga class, there is a new instructor at the fitness studio I was going to, because I was going to a general fitness studio. And there was a particular instructor who was subbing that night. And I remember during our practice, you know, it was my third or fourth yoga class. I was not flexible. I couldn't balance. I felt real out of place, but I kept with it. And the whole time she was walking around the class, she was saying kind of all your motivational yogi things. She was saying like, you know, you're beautiful, you're perfect as you are. And it really, I mean, it reinforced a really good feeling the whole time we were doing this and the whole time we were struggling, particularly me, struggling through the class. And I remember in this particular class, she encouraged me to attempt a headstand, which I had never thought possible. It was, and also for my strength, but also it was only my third or fourth yoga class. And the possibility of getting into that headstand, I didn't quite nail it that class, but just realizing that it was a possibility that, you know, one day my body could reach that point was really, really uplifting and really, really motivational. And she ended that class with an aromatherapy session, and I just remember leaving that particular class and just knowing that I wanted to take my yoga practice further, that, you know, one day I could keep working on my flexibility and my strength, and even though I wasn't super strong or super flexible at that moment, you know, I knew that I could get there. And that was when yoga became more of kind of just a fitness regimen. It just felt good. It opened up a ton of possibilities. It made me realize, you know, I've always been kind of a little guy. I've never really been super bulky like a lot of my male friends growing up. And it made me, you know, exploring my body, it made me realize that, you know, I was stronger than I seemed, that I had potential to be stronger. And then that's just the physical part on the mat. It made me feel stronger. But that kind of follows you off your mat. And, you know, if something's kind of not right in your life outside of that, you feel it when you're on your mat in a physical pose, struggling with something that might not have given you problems before. So really, it's just an opportunity to really explore these things. That's probably my favorite part about yoga, is every time I come to my mat, it's a good indicator of kind of where I'm at physically in a practice, but also what's kind of going on outside in my real life. I'm a firm believer that everybody can benefit from yoga, physically and psychologically. And I've brought about 5 good friends to yoga classes with me. I've realized that it's kind of like an intrinsic motivation thing. Like, if they were missing something in particular in their life and they wanted to start a yoga practice to try to find that, it would take a little bit of time, but they would eventually find it. But they've got to have the motivation themselves to do it. I come to my mat on days where, you know, so days that are particularly stressful at work, I come to my mat and I want to get out some energy, or I just want to relax a little bit. Whatever I'm feeling that day, it's always a good way to get out whatever I'm feeling. If there's a particular life event that's really bothering me or taking a toll on my personal life, doing some poses on a mat is seriously a really good way to kind of work through a lot of that, because like a really deep hip opener that, you know, I could get into like yesterday, well, if there's a stressor in my life going on, it might not be as accessible today, and that might make me stop and wonder, like, what's going on in my life to make this a little more difficult? And so always trying to explore my body and my life and everything like that pretty much keeps me coming to my mat. None of us exist in a vacuum, so really for me practicing off my mat is just trying to be aware of that and be aware of my impact on the people around me and, my impact on the world around me, and trying to make that impact a positive one. For me, honestly, being a yogi means to love. It means to learn to be open to receiving love from other people, and it means to be open to giving love to people, and that's something that's pretty scary, myself included. People don't generally like to make themselves vulnerable and open themselves up, but I feel like if you open yourself up to just receiving the good intentions and the love from other people and putting it back out in the world, that's what I think it means to be a yogi.